The Transcontinental Railroad began in 1863 and ended on May 10th, 1869, when the last spike, a golden one, was driven in by a silver hammer at Promontory, Utah. It connected San Francisco to Iowa, and it was a total of over 1,900 miles long, and an estimated 30,000 laborers worked on it. On June 4th, 1876, the Transcontinental Express arrived in San Francisco after departing New York in only 83 hours. This trip used to take months by land and weeks by ship. First, you're going to take the deck of train cards. Try to create 3 equal stacks and then draw the top 3 cards off of each stack.
You're going to take the company tokens, set them to the side until they are needed. And then you're going to take the objective cards and you're going to draw 3 off of these as well.
Take the order cards, deal 2 to each player face down. Each player then is going to select 1 order card to keep and the other one will go into the discard pile. Now you're all set up and ready to play.
For generations, we have been fascinated by trains. Who hasn't grown up with the story of the little engine that could? And Thomas the Tank Engine. He arrived in 1946. I'm sure you've heard of him, as he is still loved by children worldwide. This fascination doesn't wear off when we become adults. In fact, if you do a word search on Board Game Geek for train, you'll come up with over 100 results.
During the game, you're going to score victory points by claiming objectives and also by fulfilling your order contract. In this case, I need 4 different color objectives. Notice this one is green, in order to gain an additional 6 points at the end of the game. Players take 1 mandatory action on their turn, which is choosing and taking one of these small cards. I'm going to take this one because from the first row is free, and if I wanted to take from these other rows, I would have to pay with money. As soon as you take a card, you go ahead and move the row up. And now you can see I'm going to be able to take an optional action because I can actually claim this objective card as my cars match. These get discarded and the objective card is going to get replaced. Let's talk about the special small cards. This card is a locomotive. It counts as a wild, which can stand in for any train car.
This is money. What money allows you to do is that instead of having to be forced to take a card from the first row here, you can pay for every $1 that you pay, you could take from the next row and the following. So $1 can get me cards from this row, $2 can get me cards from this row.
This is a character card, and if I take this card, I'm going to be able to take a card from any row. So I can take him, and then I can take this card.
Uh-oh, now we have an event. There are 2 separate types of events in the game. This one here is specifically saying that there's a train accident, which means that all of these agenda cards are going to be removed, and 3 new ones will take their place. There's also another one where a fire breaks out, and what would end up happening is with that is that all these cards would be removed and 9 new cards would be laid out. First try. Once one player gets their 4th objective complete, then each other player is going to get 1 final turn and then the game is going to end. Each player then is going to reveal their secret contract. Mine here states that if I had 4 company tokens of different colors, then I'm going to get a bonus 6 points at the end of the game. Well, I've only got 3. However, I do have an additional one, and that's what these tokens are for, because there are character cards that will allow you to take company tokens out of the stack of tiles of any color you choose. So because I was able to pick up the yellow one, that does give me my 4th, so that allows me then to have a total of 29 points at the end of the game. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins, and in case of a tie, whoever fulfilled the highest contract wins. This game, if you're going to compare it, it's like Ticket to Ride with the fact that all you're dealing with is the set collecting of the train cars, but there's no area control on the board. So a very simplified version of Ticket to Ride.
Right. Another part that's similar to Ticket to Ride is that you have the hidden contract to fulfill. But one thing I find about the contract is that sometimes it's just not going to work out.
Sometimes it's frustrating because your contract, they just will not pop up.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then what you try to do is you try to force an end game by getting 4 of the objective cards, hoping that your opponent is not fulfilling their contracts.
You can get a lot of points out of the objective cards themselves. You don't have to fulfill your contract in order to win.
Correct. So ultimately, yeah, I like the game. I think it's very simple. It's easy to keep track of. So it's one of those ones that I could play at the same time as I'm watching television. So it's one of those ones you don't have to focus heavily on to make sure that you're paying attention to do the ultimate move or anything like that.
Yes, I do enjoy playing the game. I do think it's very opportunistic, and you sometimes don't want to get cards so that you don't give your opponents the chance to get the good card that's behind it.
Yeah, sometimes that'll clog up too, and then eventually you're forced to do something.
Exactly,
so.
But I tell you, you know, sometimes I'm on the edge of my seat and I win, and I really feel like I did something there. So
you really did do something.
I win. I beat him all the time.
She does. She really does. And in fact, check out our live play. We're going to show how this game works in real time, and then that way you guys can get a good feel of it for yourselves. But, you know, as usual, we really appreciate you guys watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, hang on. Keep it recording.
That was really good. I think it's funny that you fell off. Okay.
Ready?